I moved to Russia for adventure. I was bored with my life in America and generally take more pride in themselves.
Всем привет! Меня зовут Регина.
Меня зовут Ирина.
И сегодня мы поговорим с молодым человеком из штата Миссури.
И узнаем, нравится ли ему Россия, нравится ли ему наша культура и чем он занимается в России. Поехали!
What's your name?
My name is Mэтью.
Where are you from?
I'm from near Columbia, Missouri, USA.
Tell me a couple things about yourself.
I am 32, I'll be 33 in about 2 weeks. Single, no wife, no kids, and I live in Moscow.
What city did you grow up in?
I grew up in a town called Warrenton, Missouri, and it's a town of about 5,000 people. It was, at the time, a town of 5,000 people. And then for the last almost 12 years, I've lived in Fulton, Missouri, which is a town of about 13,000 people.
What were your favorite things to do there?
Favorite place, favorite food, what kind of house?
My favorite foods? Oh gosh, there's so many of them. Cheeseburgers are number one. Yogurts, some yogurts. Chipotle, love Chipotle. Texas Roadhouse. Texas Roadhouse is one of the best places to eat. The rolls are amazing. So I've been to more countries than states in America. I loved Vatican City just because of the history, and it was really cool. Also, to hit on your last question, in Fulton I had a house, and my house was kind of my hobby. It was a nice big brand new home that I had custom built, and I loved it. And that was my favorite place to be in America, was at my house. I have never lived anywhere else other than Missouri, other than 2 small towns in Missouri. So to answer your question, no, I've never lived anywhere else. But living in Moscow has been an adventure, and I do have some favorite foods here, like pelmeni. And I love cepelini in Lithuania. That's my favorite Lithuanian food, is cepelini. In Italy, my favorite food was the pizza.
So why did you move to Russia?
I did not move to Russia to find a wife. I did not move to Russia for all the stereotypical reasons. I moved to Russia for adventure. I was bored with my life in America. I had a good paying job, and I was just sick of it. I was there for 9 years, and I was just, I'm 32, single, no wife, no kids. I have enough money to move, and I can kind of come live on vacation if I wanted to. So I decided to move here and try it out for an adventure, kind of see what Russia was all about, to learn the Russian language. That was why I chose Russia. I chose Moscow over Kiev just because I felt that Moscow was safer when I was here. And I feel like there's more clients in Moscow to teach English to. I feel like people in Moscow have more disposable income than the people in Kiev. And whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. And I do not regret choosing Moscow over Kiev. But there have been days where I've thought, why in the hell did I move to Moscow? Because some of the hassles that have happened here, as far as just everyday life of stuff happening here. Nothing extremely negative, nothing crazy negative, just hassles in America or hassles in Moscow that I have had as opposed to having them in America. Some of the examples are, but not limited to, would be, I'm not even going to say cab drivers. Do not get in these cabs. Make sure you download the Yandex app, Yandex Taxi first. Landlords in general not wanting to register you because they don't want to pay the taxes. Other little hassles are not having the food that I like here and the portion sizes being a lot smaller.
What are your likes and dislikes about Russia and America?
Something I like about living in Moscow is, and I could say this about really any big city in America, is I don't see the same person twice. I think there's been one time I've seen the same person twice in a city of 14 million people. That's, to me, is a positive. Like I said, I've been in small towns my entire life, and I don't have to see the same person twice. I would say that's a positive. Some of the other positives are that this place is very beautiful in the summertime, in the springtime, and the fall. So otherwise, I've had a relatively positive experience. So some of my likes in America would go back to my foods and stuff that I liked. The American conveniences, I would say. One small thing is, in America, the bathrooms are bigger. Take that for what it's worth. The showers are bigger. Some of my other likes and dislikes as far as the American conveniences as opposed to my Russian conveniences are, in America I had a car. Where I lived at, I had to have a car. In Moscow, I would never own a car in Moscow. It's nuts here. It's just crazy. The rules are different. The people drive crazy here, and I have road rage. And I'm not going to say that I'm the person that would go out and fight you on the side of the road, but I would come to that, because in America, if you give somebody the middle finger or you flash your lights at them, that means you are being very mean, and then it's going to end up in a fight probably on the side of the road. In Moscow, that's an everyday sort of thing, and I have more of a problem. Yeah, and honking horns also, and I have a problem just ignoring that. So, but everyday conveniences, as opposed in America to Moscow, are completely different, and that's kind of the stuff that I miss. And something else is also the amount of walking I do here. And I was well aware that I was going to walk a lot, not having a car.
Did you already have contacts here?
So one of my best friends in America, she is from Moscow. She graduates college in April. So I kind of got Moscow from her. She didn't tell me to move here by any means, but I always kind of thought Russian architecture was beautiful. And when I started talking to her, I'd be like, I want to learn the language. And so did I have one contact? Yes, I did. When I came here in July as a tourist, I met several people. One girl who's 19, she speaks fluent English, and I'm friends with, and she helped me a lot when I got here my first couple of weeks with setting up bank accounts and getting a phone and just small basic things. I met a man named Sergey, go figure, it's a very common name here, in July also, and I keep in contact with him, and I speak with him on Skype and sometimes in person, and he wants to practice English, and that's what we do. I hook him up with some free English.
What stereotypes did you hear?
The stereotypes I heard about Russians before I got here: everybody was mean, nobody smiled, every woman was blonde hair, blue eyes, and beautiful. What else was there? There was maybe one or two other stereotypes. Oh, everybody was drunk. So I heard on the first one. The first one was that I believe the first one I said that everybody was mean. Everybody is not mean here. Everybody does not hate Americans. Everybody is not drunk here all the time. Not every man is drunk all the time. It's a misconception. Are all the women beautiful? That's in the eye of the beholder. I mean, not every woman is blonde haired, blue eyed. Are the women beautiful though? Yeah, I think so. And I don't want to be too disparaging towards Americans, but here there's not a lot of obese people. You have to really try to be obese in Moscow. That's just the fact. I mean, because so many of you guys have to walk so much, and that's what it is. I am surprised there's more KFCs here than McDonald's. Are all American or European men coming here to find wives? I don't know anybody's intentions other than my own. So there's I'm not going to say misconception, but there's the thought that if you're an American guy, you can come and just pick up a woman anywhere and take her back to America or take her back to your home country. Maybe. I mean, not every woman here is a gold digger looking to escape Russia. Moscow has, I would say, a fair amount of middle class people who are not living paycheck to paycheck and who are not rich, but they're surviving, and they're happily surviving. And do they have dreams of coming to America or at least visiting? I'm sure they do. But does every woman want to escape Russia and flee to America? No. That's not a fact here. I have not encountered that.
Will you live in Moscow for a long time?
What are your plans in life?
So the first question is, will I live in Moscow for a long time? Am I opposed to staying longer? No. I would stay a year and a half. I would stay 2 years. If I I'm doing well here right now, I'm doing well. And if I continue to do well and find happiness here, yeah, I'll stay longer, but I will not live in Moscow forever. I will go back to America and I will go back to America so I don't have to live in an apartment anymore, number one. I'll go back to America so I can be a police officer again. These are my passions, is just having my own home and being a police officer and being able to drive. And, so is Moscow going to be my home forever? No, I'm not going to live here forever. I will go back to America.
What was your favorite countries to visit?
Latvia, Portugal, Italy, but when I say Italy, I'm referring to Rome and Vatican City. So my favorite place was Vatican City, just because it's beautiful. The architecture was great. I didn't like Rome so much because there were so many tourists, and I'm saying that as a tourist, and there was a lot of trash in the streets. Just it wasn't clean. Riga, Latvia was probably the cleanest city I've ever been to in my entire life.
Tell us about the main differences between Europe and Russia.
And what's similar?
I would say cost of things. One of the other reasons I moved to Moscow is because I knew it was going to be fairly cheap, which for the most part it has been cheap, but it hasn't been as cheap as I thought it would be. An average apartment here is roughly 40,000 rubles a month, and at today's exchange rate of 63 rubles to the dollar, it comes out to roughly $625 to $650 a month. Including utilities, you're looking at roughly $700 a month to be within 30 minutes of the center. Other things here that that I thought would be cheaper are food. KFC is cheap, yeah, of course, but haircuts are usually on par with American prices, which means they are about the same price. Gym memberships here are a little bit more expensive, I would say. As far as more so comparing it to Europe, that's a country by country kind of question. So the euro is obviously much stronger than the ruble, and food in Europe is more expensive. As far as the other differences, I didn't spend enough time in these countries to really grasp the differences. I was in these countries for 3 and 4 days, and generally take more pride in themselves. One other thing is that men and women here don't walk around in sweatpants like they do in America.
What's your opinion about New York and California?
New York and California are very liberal states, and I have no desire to go there, not because I'm anti-Democrat or anti-liberal. It's just they're higher tax states, and they have a lot of beliefs and values that I don't like, and I will not like. So one of the things is people here always want to visit America. They always want to visit New York City or Los Angeles. Every person you ask will say that. And I remind them that New York City and Los Angeles are the Moscow of America, meaning those are the big cities. It's not really America, in my opinion. Smaller towns in the Midwest and the South are America, in my opinion. I will say also, as far as where most liberals live here in Moscow, I would say St. Petersburg. I've never been there, but that's what all my Russian friends and acquaintances tell me, is that St. Petersburg is kind of the college city and more the liberal area of Russia. But the people in Moscow want to visit New York and want to visit LA, and I kind of try to steer them away from that. If they really want to see America, yeah, definitely go to New York City and experience it. I mean, sure, but also get a taste of a place like, the suburbs of St. Louis, or I'm not going to say Lincoln, Nebraska, because there's nothing there to see, but, go to Denver, Colorado. Yeah, it's a fairly liberal area, but they're not crazies. Maybe go to Florida. I mean, is that really America? Most of it is, yeah, but, it'd be a nice place to go with, I would say, a 50-50 population of people who are Americans and foreigners of usually Hispanic descent.
Thank you for answering for our questions.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Пока.
Bye, baka.
Ставьте лайки, пишите комментарии.
Пока-пока.